Hey there, Regina Alley here, and it is time for Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Today, or this week, we're talking about how to basically get your unique thoughts out there. So the whole idea is thought leadership. That's the theme of the week, right? And today I want to give you 3 ways to find your unique voice, your unique take on topics that everyone else is already talking about. So in this day of AI, if you haven't noticed, you may have, or you may not be paying attention. I don't know. In this day and age of AI, a lot of the content is all starting to sound the same. Why? Because you put a prompt into AI that says, give me 5 post ideas about how to eat healthy after menopause. Making something up here. And it gives you 5 ideas, and you say, create 5 posts. Well, you know what? If somebody else puts that same prompt in, or a very similar prompt, they're getting very similar answers. So all of the content that's out there now is sounding more generic than ever. AI has brought it to a whole new level of common. And in order for you to stand out and be unique, you have to establish yourself as that thought leader out there. And that's what this theme is all about. So here's 3 ways to find your unique take on these topics that everyone else is talking about, instead of the same advice, the same 5 tips, the same 3 tips, the same 5 steps, whatever it is. Let's make you a little bit more unique in your space. Now, again, this is unique to you, so I can't tell you what it is that you're supposed to talk about because I don't know you. And if I do, we have to have a conversation before I can tell you or give you ideas on things that are uniquely yours. So this is kind of in general some things about how to come about these content ideas. The first one, look at how you actually do things versus the textbook way to do it. Did you ever think that, some people are very book smart and they read the same book. And I hear people all the time, what book you read? Oh, I'm reading this book by this one. I'm reading this book by this one. And they start implementing all of the stuff that they say to implement. And all of a sudden, everybody starts sounding like that person. All that textbook stuff, there's a lot of good stuff out there. So read those books. Then how would you do it in your world? Not their way, but with your words. Most of this standard advice is, it's generic on purpose. But you probably do things a little bit differently than everybody else does because you have your own way of doing it. You have your own personality. You have your own beliefs. You have your own values. You have your own system. You have your personality. Everything about you is about how you do things your way. So take that textbook away maybe and spin it into something more unique for you. How do you actually do it versus how they say to do it? And then go do it your way. People want the difference. People want the unique. They don't want the same old from everybody else. They want the unique version of you. They want a unique spin on something that's going on. They're tired of hearing all the stuff that's over there all over and over and over again. In my world, we talk about, your avatar, your niche, and all these things. And it gets a pretty repetitive unless you put your spin on it. Put your spin on how they say to do something. That's number 1. Second is pay attention to what your clients keep asking you, or maybe even what the comments are out on posts and stuff like that. Peruse some of those posts, maybe out in a Facebook group or something like that, where your ideal client is hanging out. What are people actually asking for, and how are they asking for it? Remember, it's not about you, it's about them. And so how are they asking for stuff that they need? And how can you uniquely present that to them? So pay attention to what your clients and what your audience keeps asking for. Because if you keep getting the same question or the same comments or the same ideas over and over and over again, chances are pretty good they're a hot topic. So it might even be something that sounds and feels really basic to you, something that you're like, well, duh. Except for, you know what? Anytime you go, well, duh, it's not, well, duh to everybody. Just because you know it doesn't mean everybody knows it. And that's where people get hung up a lot of times because they think, well, everybody knows this, right? No, they don't. And you can teach it with your unique spin on it. So pay attention to what clients and your audience are asking for. And then, you know, it's not necessarily common knowledge. It's knowledge, but they might not have it yet. It might not be as common as you think it is. So fill in that gap where you're instantly the expert now because you actually know it and they didn't. Something they didn't know yet. My favorite word, yet. What you didn't know yet, somebody else knows. And you know a lot of stuff that other people don't know yet. So pay attention to what they're asking for and fill in those gaps for them. Third, this is the fun one. Say the thing that no one else is saying. Do you have a pet peeve? Do you have a strong opinion about something that you don't voice because you're like, well, everybody thinks it's this way, so I'm just going to go along with the crowd, and I don't, but I'm going to do it my way because that's the way I do it, but I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to sound different than anybody else. You know what? That's exactly what you need to do. That thing that nobody else is talking about is what you need to talk about. You know, is there some kind of a trend? Maybe there's some kind of a shift going on or a pattern that you've seen that's in your industry, and you're noticing that people aren't necessarily flipping the coin or reframing it to the other side or a spin that actually kind of makes more sense, or at least makes more sense to you and your audience. What is that thing that people aren't talking about? I mention all the time that, you know, my business and how I do it today is literally built on all of the trainers and all of the mentors that I've worked with over many years, over 20 plus years, all the stuff that I wish they had done, wish they had said, wish they had added in, wish they had spun around for me so I would understand it better and not have to go figure it out for myself. That's what I do. And one of my big pet peeves in this industry, in the business consulting industry, is that people try to fit you into that cookie cutter. Follow this model, 6 figures in 6 months, or, you know, make $10,000 a month guaranteed in 90 days. You know, these claims and all this stuff, I call BS. It's like these are people who are trying to fit you into a box that say that if you don't do it their way, it's not going to work. And that's just not true. You need to do it your way, and then it will work, because it's never going to work if you keep pushing against something that doesn't feel right to you. So that's an example of saying that thing that nobody else is saying, because not many people in my industry say that. It's where the unicorn factor came from. It's all about being unique and being uniquely you. So what is it in your world that people are saying? Are you a nutritionist and everybody's saying, hey, this is the trending diet right now and you have to follow this because this is the way everything works and this is the best thing for you? And you're like, no, you really don't want to do that. Or maybe if you're, you know, a certain person of a certain age or something like that, you know, it's maybe that's not quite the right thing and you don't want to follow that, but nobody's saying that. Be the one who says it. Be the one who stands out from the crowd and mentions that thing that's like, yeah, so I know everybody's talking about this right now, but I wanted to give you a different way to think about this, or I wanted to tell you another way. I wanted to tell you why this might not necessarily be right for you. Put that spin on it and talk about that thing that nobody else is talking about right now. So even if you're not 100% sure, you know, it's still a valid take. It's your opinion about whatever it is. So pick one of those things. Either, you know, look at actually how you do it versus the textbook way and spin that around into yours. Pay attention to what those clients and your audience is saying out in maybe social land or wherever, and say, you know, what is it that, it sounds like it's should be pretty basic, but it's apparently not because all these people keep asking about it? Take that one. Or say that thing, that's my favorite one. Say that thing that nobody is talking about yet, because that's when you become the thought leader. That's when you really start to shine, where you start to stand out and people start coming to you because you're not following the masses. You're not the lemming following the rest of the lemmings over the cliff. You are doing your own thing, your own way, and hitting the right audience. The right people will find you if you are there, authentic, unique, and telling them what it is that they really need to hear. That's what makes you stand out from the crowd. So that's what I got for you this week. We'll see you next time on Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Bye for now.